I didn't really do much today. I made some important phone calls, and those were pretty much my spoons for the day. Uh, it's really weird. Like, mental illness, it screws up even some of the most basic of tasks. You know, before everything that happened with Clint, I would have had absolutely no trouble sitting down and spending a couple of hours making phone calls. Um, but nowadays, it's a kind of a different story. Um, Very deeply frustrating thing that, um, but I guess that's the way life goes. Um, on the subject of how life goes, I dropped this on the floor today, so I have to clean this mess up, which is going to be fun, fun, fun. Um, but I was watching, of all things, the Graham Norton Show clips on YouTube with my boyfriend this evening, and we stayed up far later than we should have watching them, but it's a fantastic show. I was really enjoying it. And, the Graham Norton Show, they bring celebrities on and they ask them embarrassing questions or have them tell stories, and it's a pretty good romp. Fun thing to watch. And so watching the show and seeing the celebrities, interacting and just being real people and telling, stories about being human, sparked some of my memories, and I popped off on this big long series of stories where I was telling my boyfriend about my uncanny amount of luck with interacting with celebrities. That's really kind of an interesting thing. All throughout my life, I have had uncanny luck when it comes to meeting or interacting with or just generally being around celebrities. And I told him some stories from my past about, how I called Robert Beltran out for being a douchebag, and how I got a big hug from Jerry Ryan, who's very, very tall, and my face ended up right in her cleavage when she gave me that hug. Of course, I was just then figuring out that I was not into females, so it was kind of awkward for me. But I would tell the story to, people boys who were straight, and they were totally envious of me. But, telling them the story about how I got to meet Walter Koenig and George Takei, two absolutely fantastic gentlemen, and all these other stories, and I realized that my life has kind of sucked in the last couple of years, and I've never really done anything super fantastic with my life. I mean, I've never really had a proper career. I could have made a career of the hotel industry, I guess, but I couldn't handle the stress. It started really affecting my health, so I had to give that up. And the military didn't work out for me because I had problems with my bones, and I've moved around a lot because I couldn't find a place where I really felt, home, I guess. And I've just sort of floated around aimlessly throughout my life. And that's been something that's kind of bothered me in the past. This feeling of not really having done anything useful with my life. And then I remember all of these things that I've done, traveling internationally with the army, and the absolutely fantastic things I got to do as a musician while attending the Denver School of the Arts in high school, meeting celebrities, and I've had such weird luck, like literally running into and bouncing off of James Earl Jones, and having lunch with George Takei and Walter Koenig, and getting the hug from Jerry Ryan, and meeting Robert Picardo in Vancouver, and walking onto the set of Fringe accidentally when they were filming in downtown Vancouver, accidentally walking onto the set of Deadpool while they were filming, and being told by Ryan Reynolds that I was not where I belonged. He was, very kind and goofy about it. Like, he wasn't angry or anything. He was just like, I don't think you're supposed to be here. And I looked at him and I said, I don't think I'm supposed to be here either. But, in Vancouver, when they're doing filming in the streets, they don't actually stop pedestrians from going on and off the set, because they want, natural foot traffic for certain scenes. So, in a way, I was where I was supposed to be because I was allowed to be there, but I think I wandered a little bit too far into the filming area. And one thing I kick myself about is that I've had an opportunity to get involved in the props and practical effects departments of various filming studios. I have business cards from people who offered me jobs there, but because I have a certain amount of loyalty and I'm an idiot, I was working at RP Electronics, and that was my job, and I didn't want to abandon my job at RP Electronics to take a job with a props department, which, in retrospect, I probably should have pursued some of those opportunities. I don't think Andrew, who was the owner of RP Electronics, would have really begrudged me for grabbing onto one of those opportunities, but, they were kind of short-staffed anyway, and I didn't feel it was right for me to do that. But that's probably why I'm so mentally damaged now, was because I have this terrible habit of giving everything while not really keeping anything for myself, and that's what screwed things up with Clint, because rather than abandoning him when he became addicted to meth, I tried to stick with him and support him and encourage him to seek help when he was not interested in doing it. He had absolutely no point in seeking help, because he had absolutely no intent of giving up the addiction. And so, I burnt myself out, and he took advantage of that particular trait of mine. And now here we are with me the way I am. But, I look back at all these cool things that I've done, and the people that I've met and interacted with, and I've gotten to do a lot of things that a lot of people can't say they've done, and I've gotten to meet a lot of people that, I really shouldn't have been meeting, but I got to meet them anyway, and I think I've done pretty good. Maybe not really great career-wise, but I've done some really cool things with my life. So, I've got that at least. Thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow.